Hello, I'm Jed Pidd and I'm the Safeguarding Adult Board Manager for Trafford. In Trafford, we call the Safeguarding Adult Board the Trafford Strategic Safeguarding Partnership, or the TSSP. And I just wanted to introduce David Mellor's couple of videos with a video of my own, which really just talks about the authority under which Safeguarding Adult Boards conduct safeguarding adult reviews, and they're generally referred to as SARs, and in this, and I'm sure David will refer to these reviews as SARs. And the authority for those safeguarding adult reviews, SARs, comes from Section 44 of the Care Act 2014. Now, it's quite a complicated piece of legislation in the sense that it's written in a really complicated way that is difficult to describe. So the way that we do this within our SAR panel, and the way that we consider whether or not cases that are referred into have reached threshold under Section 44 is by really going through a series of points, and what we call those kind of threshold points in a way. And I think it's easier to describe that in the first instance. So we will get referrals in predominantly from adult social care and colleagues in police into our SAR panel. And the SAR panel is made up of our three statutory bodies, which is the local authority, representative from health, in this case CCG, and chaired by Chief Nurse in the CCG, Jackie Coulton, and from the police as well, representative from police as well, and obviously the management of the TSSP from themselves is there as well. So that's the SAR panel. That SAR panel considers SAR referrals. So in terms of the thresholds that has to be met for a SAR to be authorised and for an independent author to be engaged, which in this case it was, and in this case was David Mellor, the following points are in a sense, points that we would need to reach for that process to happen. So the first thing is, under Section 44 of the Care Act, was this individual an adult in Trafford's area? So in this case, we're talking about somebody called VM. Now VM is the way we've been asked to refer to this individual, and she's talked about as VM in the SAR review that we've subsequently commissioned and have written. So was she an adult in Trafford's area? Well, yes, she was. So in that sense, there's a tick for that part of the definition. Had she regrettably died? Yes, she had died, and indeed that's why we received the referral, because the individual that wrote the referral felt there was something to be learned from the manner of her death. So that's the second part. The third part is, did we know or did we suspect neglect or abuse was involved in VM's case, or contributed in some way to VM's death? And the answer to that was yes. There was a particular problem with VM and the circumstances of death, and that was around the fact that she walked about at night, and that was known to services. And we felt that because that hadn't been managed particularly well and particularly effectively, and indeed she died as a result of that subsequently, that element constituted failure to manage that constituted neglect. So that's why there was a tick as far as that part of the definition was concerned. The next part is an area where often, if everything else is satisfied, we can't satisfy this bit, which was, did she die as a result of the neglect? Well, in these circumstances, VM did die as a result of that neglect. We say the neglect was due to the fact that we failed to stop her wandering or walking about at night. She actually died as a result of the RTA, or Road Traffic Accident or road traffic collision that occurred when she walked in front of the vehicle when she was walking about. So yes, she did die as a result. So I think you can see that we've hit all the boxes so far in terms of the definition. The last element is, and again, this is an element where we often, if everything else is satisfied, we often fail on this in terms of commissioning a SAR. Was VM's death at least partly a result of a failure of partners of the Safeguarding Adult Board, our TSSP, to safeguard VM? And again, we thought in these circumstances that was very likely, because there was evidence that partners could have worked much more effectively together to prevent or mitigate or manage the risk of VM walking about at night and subsequently the day when this accident, this terrible accident happened. So a bit long-winded, but that is how the Trafford Strategic Safeguarding Partnership makes up its mind, in effect, whether or not it is authorised under the Care Act, Section 44 of the Care Act 2014, to commission an independent author to write a safeguarding adult review, a SAR. And the next couple of videos are of David Mellor, who was the individual that we commissioned and who writes this independent review for us. And he will talk us through the circumstances of VM's death and his recommendations and conclusions from that review. The key thing for us is what we're trying to do is to learn from the circumstances of VM's death and to try and understand where we could improve so that other people in the same circumstances will not die from the less effective safeguarding that took place in this case. There was some safeguarding, without a doubt, but it didn't ultimately lead to the risk management that we would have expected in these circumstances. So the whole process is about learning. Thank you.